station C1 and how to cut gel. So first of all, there are 3 different sizes that we use in this space. Technically, there's a 4th, and that's for our cyclites. But the most common size is your source 4 size. This is the 6.5-inch size. The source 4 pars and parnells take the 7-inch size, and the the larger Fresnels in the other space take the 10-inch size. What we've got here essentially is the organizational system. So first, there are large full sheets in this area here. You can, in general, use these. The thing that I ask is that you do not cut one piece out of a large sheet of gel and then put it back in the thing. If you are going to cut gel, just come in and cut it. Like, cut it all to one size, or if you can, like, I don't know, cut, mostly source 4 sizes and then get 3 cuts. I don't care, as long as you cut up the sheet and label it. It is very important that you label all of the gel. Otherwise, we don't know what color it is, and then we have to throw it away. Or somebody has to spend 2 hours with a gel book trying to figure it out, okay? Just always label your gel. So what we're gonna do in this class is you're all gonna collectively sort of work on cutting up one of these sheets. I'm going to select a color that we seem to have a lot of and go with that. Oh, well. Let's do this. This seems good. Ooh, it's all super dusty. Ooh. Oh, it's a gross color. Ooh, it's like salmony pink. I'm not a fan of pink. You're gonna learn this. Yeah. All right. I'm a fan of pink in general, just not in light. Certain applications. So this is Roscoe 1. So Roscoe is the main manufacturer that we tend to use of lighting gel, also known by its proper name as a color filter, because what it's doing is it's filtering out part of the wavelength of the light to give you this rosy pink, syrupy color. The other manufacturers that you may hear are GAM, Great American Market, which is now owned by Roscoe, as well as Lee. GAM has really, really great saturated colors, and their ambers are pretty great. Roscoe is just kind of your general of the mill. Lee is actually a British firm. It's out of London, I think. And then there's also Apollo, which is the Roscoe ripoff. Their gobos are great, and their gel is kind of funny. Because, for instance, one of the main colors, RO2, Roscoe 2, is called Bastard Amber. And Apollo, in their funniness and specifically ripping off Roscoe, calls theirs Fatherless Amber. Stuff like that. So you're going to work your way down this list, but essentially what you're going to do is you're going to measure the frame, right? Because you're going to have to learn that this is like, it's 6.5. It's really more like 6 1/4. 6 1/4. Everybody calls it 6.5 though. Essentially, then you're going to move over to this gel cutter. And this gel cutter is the perfect size, because I bought it that way, to fit a piece of gel. And essentially, this gel cutter, you just need to be kind to it, because it is an expensive, lovely piece of machinery that makes all of our lives easier. So you'll want to move that to 6 1/4, right? So this is about half, 6 1/4. This will all make sense. Right? Oh, good. Yes, that seems right. And then you can go ahead and pinch it down. So it's not going to fall or do anything weird.
Is that
right?
5 3/4?
You know what it is? It's what happens when I am being filmed and not paying attention. There you go. Thank you.
See, that's why it's nice to have cards so you can read.
Yeah, they can. I did it again.
Right there, yeah. Right.
Don't do that.
Rats and cheeses.
There you go.
There we go.
Thank you, card.
Measure twice, cut once, everyone. Measure twice, cut once. Then all you have to do is you have to press down and pull. And you can leave this for the next group. But you're going to handle this first. So we know that is Roscoe 1. We now have to cut it into its own individual pieces. So there's a couple ways to do this, but I think the easiest way is still just to keep going through this process. I'm doing it right now, correct? Good. Here we go. And in your group, take turns so that everybody has the experience of cutting the gel in a satisfactory manner. Very nice, lovely. So yeah, you would keep cutting this. The very important part is that now that you have this lovely little dusty piece of gel, is you will want to label it. Now, the preferred way is to use a grease pencil. We don't have grease pencils right now, but you can always use a Sharpie. The way that I prefer to do that is to go ahead and lay the gel frame on there and then just write it here at the bottom. So it's not right in the center, but if you needed to find out what color it was without pulling it out of the gel frame, you could.
It's R01.
You gonna say something? Same thing she was gonna say? I was talking about fatherless amber, I got all,
Will that not like show up if you put it in?
If you put in what?
Like the Sharpie isn't gonna like show through if you put it in.
No, it won't really affect the color of the light. I mean, somebody looking down up at it might see it, but it's really not that important. So the next thing we need to do is to remove the paper and throw it in a trash can, which we don't have right now.
What's the paper?
Oh, there's a trash can box, we'll do that. And then we need to file it away. So, and you'll all get to come over here and look through this since you're gonna do this station. But each file has the number on it, as well as 3 different file folders. Hopefully they still exist. One is labeled 6-inch, that's your source 4 size. One is 7.5-inch, that's your source 4 par size. One is 10-inch, and psych. So it's either 10-inch or psych, so just your larger stuff will go on the back. So you want to make sure that you're filing this away in the correct place, in the correct order. So what you'll do is, so this is R01, and it is the 6-inch size. You want to confirm that you do have the 6-inch folder, and you're gonna go ahead and put that guy right in there, and then you are done. But as a side note, in Roscoe, there are numbers that begin with a 3. So for instance, if it is 365, that means that a famous lighting designer, famous Broadway lighting designer, wanted to tweak a color that already existed in Roscoe, like add just a little bit more red to it or something. And usually it's named after that famous lighting designer, like Skelton Exotic Sangria. Yeah, there was a lighting designer named Skelton, and he named his color Exotic Sangria. So those numbers are after, pretty fabulous, right? Serious dreams. Where you find the 300s, it looks like somebody reorganized my gel cabinet and I want to punch them in the face. Where you should find them, so if it's 60, you should find 360 right behind it. Does that make sense? And if it's 362, you should find 362 right behind it. If anybody wants to be a homie and put those things back where they belong, that'd be awesome. So there are also 4-digit numbers. Those are fairly new in the relative scheme of gels. Those are calibrated colors, so they're scientifically calibrated to be a pure version of the color, and there's different gradients of them, so there's less saturated to more saturated colors. Those are in the back. Any questions about any of that? That's a wrap.